So, 3 quick points on the election that supposedly Sarah Palin has lost. 3 quick points. I see 2 problems with the election. One with the ranked choice voting mechanism, algorithm, whatever itself, and one with the special election itself with the combination. I'll explain. There's 2 problems. One with the ranked choice, one with the special election. Constitutional convention and Sarah Palin is stupid. So if you want to, you're saying it's crazy and convoluted, and 2, it doesn't make any sense. Sarah Palin, just tell all your voters you have about 20 different candidates here to rank these candidates from 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's as simple as counting to 4. If Sarah Palin doesn't understand ranked choice voting, that means she doesn't know how to count to 4. You don't know how to rank things. You got number 1, you got number 2, number 3, number 4. It's simple. It's simple. It started out with 48 candidates, and you want to sit there and say what? What? I don't even understand their damned argument. Basically, they don't understand basic math. Sarah Palin can't count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's if you just don't understand anything about the ranked choice voting. Just, you have, top 4. There's 20 candidates here. Pick the top 4. Which one's your favorite? Which one's the second favorite? Which one's your third favorite? Which one is your fourth favorite? It's ranked choice voting. You rank these candidates. Why? Because the two-party system is bullshit. To give the independents a chance, you have to have some sort of the third party a chance. This makes this election reform, makes it fair. We have the presidential election, which I think is better than parliamentary. So we have good elections, pretty decent ones, but we can make it perfect with ranked choice voting. So Alaska is fantastic. This is like New York City. This is like Maine. This is like Nevada has a ballot measure, I think, on the initiative for November. Now, the 3 quick points. So, constitutional convention. Sarah Palin, you're stupid. You don't understand ranked choice voting. In order to, what the tactic was, she just needed to not be a total dickhead to Nick Begich and Sarah Palin were just lobbing, basically a bunch of insults at each other. So, what would you're expecting that Nick's voters, the people that voted for Nick, is going to go and vote for Sarah? Why would you assume that? That makes no sense whatsoever. And it was a close election, so you can't tell me if it was a Republican 30% to 26%. 2 big problems that I see. One with ranked choice voting. If I was running ranked choice voting, I really like these top 4, top 5 primaries. I love these top 4, top 5 primaries. A big problem that I see, in order to get rid of like a lot of this little shit, let's read these candidates off, and actually I'll read the numbers. These are the rankings. They haven't been reporting the whole damn story, and so you're not understanding what the hell's going on. The problem is, she actually got power. So Sarah Palin did kind of lose, but she didn't lose. You had 4 winners. You have to have a runoff. The problem, okay, so you got 2 problems. One, you have all these, under 1%. The very first runoff, the election, I wouldn't just drop the loser candidate. I would drop everybody that's under 1%. And then that just leaves 4 candidates. And the 4 candidates would be Tara M. Sweeney, 3.75%, who's a Republican, right? And it's interesting. I mean, there's Republican, UND, undeclared, I guess, or NON, nonpartisan. Undeclared, nonpartisan, maybe. Representative. 1 Democrat, 2 Libertarians. A whole bunch of people. 1 that just blank, Robert Ornelius. I don't even... But the top 4 candidates would be Nick Begich with 49,833 votes, 26%. And then you have the top 4. These are the top 4 in no particular order. 57,000. Sarah Palin got 57,486, so she got 30%. And then you got Mary S. Peltola. Mary S. Peltola is a native Alaskan, and she's got over 100 long guns in her house because they're hunters. I mean, in order to survive in Alaska, you have to have firearms. You got to have access to wild game. So Mary S. Peltola, she got 70,000 votes, 37%. So you got 37%, 30%, 26%, and then you got 4%. So really the anomaly would be Terry M. Sweeney. Terry M. Sweeney would be the dark horse candidate. Terry M. Sweeney could actually end up being the U.S. representative for the entire state of Alaska. That should be exciting for Terry Tara M's, she's a dark horse candidate. She's the underdog, right? She's Mac, she's Rocky. She's the, Gorgito, the faraway candidate from far, far. And whereas Tara M. Sweeney, she's just basically, she was nobody yesterday, but she won. She got in the top 4. So this is the problem. Here's the problem. You have Mary Peltola won the thing with 70,000. If you're going to say one person won the thing, but she didn't win a majority. That's another beautiful thing I love about ranked choice voting. It guarantees a majority victor. Guarantees a majority victor. So you can't have a person that wins, with 37% with the plurality. Well, Mary represents 37%. Get on in there. So the problem with this election, it's a special election, so they're using this. They're not doing it correctly. Imagine it's not a special election. You would have the primary, then you would have the general election. And the primary, you'd have 50 candidates. You would figure out the top 4. Those top 4 go to the general election, and then those in the general election, the electorate would pick amongst those top 4. That is perfect. That's a simple system. That's exactly how you want it to be. What the problem is, because they have a special election, it seems like they didn't have a runoff election. This is the primary, top 4, but then they're going to say that Mary S. Peltola is probably going to win the runoff election because you can go ahead and tabulate all this and figure out who would have won hypothetically, because this isn't the final thing. This is the primary thing, right? So we're looking for top 4. So the problem is they are giving the Democrat, Mary S. Peltola, the power. They're giving Mary S. Peltola the power right now. They're giving her the power. So for 2 months, she can go to Congress and vote for this or vote for that. That being said, we're close to Election Day. I feel like he's probably lame duck until after November anyway, so they're not going to get probably anything done to begin with. But Mary S. Peltola might sit in the chair, look the part, pass this or that, say, look, I'm bringing home the bacon, I'm bringing home the capital projects that Alaska needs. She could sit and maybe have power for 2 months because there's a general election coming up. So, okay, Mary S. Peltola is the new Congresswoman for Alaska. She's also an Alaskan native. So she's indigenous, Alaskan native, the first one in Congress. She's made history, and 100 guns. I mentioned she has over 100 guns. And actually, you only had one guy. You only had this fucking Don Young guy who's been the damn congressman. Alaska apparently only has one congressman, one representative, 2 senators, one is that right? I mean, that's probably, they got a small population. So that might, but since 1973, and so basically people are saying Democrat but he's been the same guy. Don Young has been the same guy. So it's not a Republican Democrat thing. It's a Don Young, Sarah Palin, Alaska thing. So, that's remarkable that if they're going to give her power, the problem is you needed 2 elections. If you're going to have a special election with this, ranked choice voting, you needed the primary, then you need a general election, and then that's who you figure, then you figure out who had won. So what I think should happen is they shouldn't give her the chair right now. They shouldn't give Mary Peltola the chair right now. They should wait to the general election and then let the general election just run those top 4 candidates just the way that it was supposed to be. Tara Sweeney and Mary S. Peltola, Sarah Palin, and Nick Begich. That's what they're going to do anyways. And so, but by giving her the power, that kind of gives her like an incumbency sort of advantage. I don't know. It's just, it's not right because there were supposed to be 2 elections, a primary and a general election. So if you just had one special election, then you didn't do both the primary and the general election. You kind of did something differently, and that's not fair. That's not right. Not everybody understood what you were doing. So my problem with the ranked choice algorithm, I would have knocked everybody, under 1%, which we would have got the same thing anyways. But listen to all these candidates. You got Jay Armstrong, Nick Begich, Greg Brailsford, Chris By, Lady Duchess, Ted Hines. I heard actually Tara M. Sweeney is going to drop out. And so she got 4%. She's kind of the anomaly, right? You had 37%, 30%, 26%. Then you had 4%. But all these other ones are under 1%, and the next one is 0.62%. So if Tara Sweeney does drop out, then it would go to Chris By. And if Chris By drops out, then it'll go to, what, 0.5? No 0.5s, 0.4s? No 0.4s, 0.3s. No 0.3s, 0.2. 2.3, 2.8. So it would go to 0.28. J.R. Myers. It would go to the other Libertarian. So if Tara M. Sweeney does drop, I think it's actually good for the Republicans to have, 3 Republicans in the race, and then they can talk amongst themselves and throw the support to each other if they like each other. Because if you have 3 Republicans in the race, then most likely you have a 3 out of 4 chance that the person that is going to be the governor is going to be the Republican. So I think it's a good thing that you got 3 Republicans in there, and maybe a Libertarian, J.R. Myers or Chris By. If Chris By drops out, then it goes to J.R. Myers, which would be crazy. Maybe he goes to Chris By, but right now it's Tara Sweeney, and it's Mary Peltola, and the whole point was you needed to win the first round. You needed to win the first round. And so Mary, as Peltola didn't, she got 37%, but she didn't get 51%. You have to get 51%. So it just keeps on retabulating, recalculating until you get 50% plus 1. You have to have a majority. You have to have a candidate that represents the majority. She got 37%. So when Sarah Palin said, the second and third place, no, Mary S. Peltola got first place. She got 70,000 votes. Sarah Palin got 57,000 votes. She got more than 10,000 votes over Sarah Palin, and she got, that much more over Nick Begich. So, 30,000, 20,000 votes over Nick Begich. So you have, let's see, Tremaine Wilson, Denise A. Williams, Tara M. Sweeney, Sherry A. Strite, Zach Brad Snowden, Randy Perham, Andrew H. Phelps, Mary S. Peltola, Silvio E. Pellegrini, Sarah Palin, Robert Ornelius, J.R. Myers, Sherry Mettler, Robert Lyons, Davis L. LeBlanc Jr., David Hughes, Ted Hines, Lady Donna Duchess, Chris By, Craig B. Brailsford, Nick Begich, and J.R. Armstrong. So that's 20 candidates, at least here, that's, before me. I heard that there was 48 candidates to begin with. So, if I said everything I want to say about this election, there's a lot, and I guess I've already made my 2 main points. The Constitutional Convention, the last point. Sarah Palin, instead of just saying the election system's all messed up, she could say, take it to the November ballot, elect Palin for the November ballot, and also vote for the Constitutional Convention so we can fix this, terrible election system. You think ranked elections is a terrible system? I think Sarah Palin is stupid and can't count to 4, and she can't tell her constituents to count to 4. She thinks she's the only person in this world. There's more than just Sarah Palin out there, Sarah Palin. You're not the only person in the world. The whole universe doesn't revolve around Sarah Palin. If she would have just said, hey, guys, after me, go ahead and vote for Nick Begich, she could have made friends. After me, vote for Nick Begich, and then go ahead and vote for Robert, Lyons, and Randy Perham, or Brad Snowden, or, Tara Sweeney. So vote me number 1, but here are the other candidates that, I think I hold in somewhat high regard. So this is better. It's not so people could be so polarizing and crazy. So I want to make a comment. People are sitting there talking about how the Democrats are basically expecting a bloodbath when it comes to November, but I see Kyle Kulinski and a lot of other people are they're getting overconfident. Maybe the polls are breaking in the Democrats' favor, but right now you should expect the worst, hope for the best, work towards the best, fight for the best, but expect the worst. Expect the worst. Expect that we lose the House, we lose the Senate, and it'll just be Biden there with a bunch of right-wing conservative Republicans all over the place. So what we could do is try to win. But I think damage control, mitigate the damage, stem the blood flow. That's the so there's 3 things, right? You can I'm expecting the worst, expecting a bloodbath. You fight for the best, so you fight to win. But you probably should just go with damage control, mitigate the damage, stem the blood flow. And so I don't think it's smart to say that, look, it's not going to be bad in November. Do encourage the Democrats to get out there. Try to get as many Democrats out there to vote, because I don't want right-wing conservative fucking If there's any progressives out there that's in the Republican Party, elect them. Elect progressives all over. Democrat progressives, Republican progressives, independent progressives. Anybody that wants to progress forward, like Boris Johnson said. You look at the road ahead and you check the rearview mirror. You don't live in the rearview mirror. You look at the road ahead. So I think people are being overconfident. I think they're being overconfident. So that's is this any indication of what's going to happen nationally? No. Is Sarah Palin's career over? No. I don't even think she lost. Technically speaking, I don't think she lost. She's in the top 4, which means she's in the running. Out of 20 candidates, only 4 were going to survive. Sarah Palin survived. So did Tara Sweeney. If she doesn't quit, but hell, that's then Sarah Palin quit too. Nick Begich, Sarah Palin, Mary S. Peltola, and Tara Sweeney. So that's incredible. Out of 48 candidates, dwindled down since 1972, 50 years. So if Sarah Palin doesn't understand ranked choice elections, she shouldn't be a U.S. Congresswoman. If Sarah Palin wants to win, she can win in November, right? So let's give the power to Mary, and now we got Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin can win. How can Sarah Palin win? Well, she's going to say, okay, besides me, here's how I would rank the other candidates. Now, I guess, since there's only 4 left, now you can kind of do a more scorched earth thing, but also talk about the Constitutional Convention. And just because you give the independents a chance, this is actually a fair election, a fair democratic election. So all you need to do, Sarah Palin, is get more votes than the other person. If you get more votes than the other person, here's the big thing with ranked choice voting. It's 3-dimensional. You're trying to figure out how far, deep, and wide your support is. There is crossover appeal, but it's not left versus right, up versus down. When it comes to the ranked choice of voting, you want to see how far, deep, and wide the support is. So let's assume Sarah Palin doesn't get, Nick Begich's voters, but maybe they'll get the number 2 or number 3 voters, right? So somebody that likes Nick may like Sarah. So all Sarah has to do in order to win those voters over is just be nice to the other candidates. Just be respectful of the other candidates and be respectful of their policies and their platforms. And then when Nick Begich's voters are sitting there voting for Nick Begich, they'll say, well, shit, I kind of like that Sarah Palin too. So they got 4 votes. Or they had 4 votes, right? So with the top 4, will they rank it for the top 4 again? I guess we'll see how they do with the top 4 in the general election. Because really, you could just vote for 1 or 2 or 3, but do the top 4. You got 4, rank the 4. You got 4. Which ones do you like the best? And whoever gets the most 1s, 2s, and 3s, it's the algorithm is correct. The algorithm is correct. Sarah Palin's just stupid. She don't know what the hell she's talking about. Backwards, white. I feel like Liz Truss might not even understand this, and she's more smarter than Palin. And Sarah Palin's a namesake. She went for celebrity, so everybody knows her. She still has name recognition, and she's still in this, so she could still win. So everybody declaring Sarah Palin out is stupid. That's dumb, too.